The test of strength is really just removing a heavy object, the heaviest possible object, from one point to the next. And this fascination with strength dates back to the ancient Roman times. They felt it was such an important characteristic to be strong that they even created the god Hercules. The fascination with strength since then hasn't really changed. I mean, over the past 200 years, sports like weightlifting and powerlifting and strongman have been developed as a way to test the strength in a controlled and repetitive environment. You could now say that these sports have become mainstream and they have a massive following where people pay good money to sponsor and to watch these athletes perform these amazing feats. The 1 rep max test is a way of proving your strength. Well, that was fun and hopefully inspirational, but let's backtrack a bit so we can get into more depth with this topic. For those who are unfamiliar with what the 1 rep max test entails, just a short summary: you will try and lift for 1 rep the heaviest possible barbell you can. It's that simple. There is, however, a much safer way of establishing a 1 rep max through prediction. And that's called the indirect method, whereby you take a sub-maximal load and you perform between 2 and 20 reps with that load, obviously maxing out the number of reps you can. And you take the load and number of reps, you plug it into a formula and it predicts your 1 rep max. It's much safer to use on a number of different athletes, from athletes coming back from injury, athletes who haven't trained for a very long time, novice athletes, children. So it's really more suitable for the gen pop or general population. It's definitely a method everybody should know, all coaches should understand, and be used more frequently than the 1 rep max test. So without further ado, let's look at a real life example of this indirect method. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Good, good. Looks good. All right. You fit as a fiddle, it looks like. Shouldn't have any issues here. Cool. All right, perfect. Let's get started. Just a pen, please. Thank you. So what we're going to do is we have to base all the programming on a 1 rep max. But because you haven't trained for some time, it doesn't make sense to put you through the original 1 rep max test, just for injury prevention or whatever. So we're going to do an indirect method of 1 rep max testing. All right, we're going to go through a bit of a warm-up. We're going to go do some mobility drills just so that I can see that you have sufficient range of motion for the bench press that we're going to do today. So let's get started. Nice. All right, keep on going. Okay, good. This is just basically testing just a nice 360-degree viewpoint of how well that shoulder joint can move and make sure there's no restrictions there. And cue the rest of the warm-up.
Like a diamond, you alone. You cut my heart like glass, just like that. Like a lion, uncontrolled. Your mark is on my back, just like that. In it for the big thrill. Yeah, you play games with my mind, always all of the time.
So you have a choice of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 racks. Where would you like to be?
I want to be here.
Want to be here? Say again?
Looks like a one.
Lucky, huh? Okay.
All the time. Collide with me, come high with me, and I'll go for you. Divine and free, go ride with me. Yeah, we'll go.
Just want to kind of go through a little bit of the cues I like to give the athletes when they're doing bench press. I know that you are experienced with this movement, but just as a formality, we should just go through them. All right, and then for the rep to count, it's got to touch your chest, and then you've got to finish in full lockout. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to count that rep. So let's do a couple of warm up with just the barbell and see those reps. Nice. You got that butt squeezed. Good. Get those abs nice and tight. A lot of people make the mistake of not using their abdominals to brace themselves and to use the glutes as a driving force. So many people put their feet up onto the bench, but it doesn't really make sense because you're breaking down the integrity of the system. So good. As we're warming up, if you feel like the weight's too heavy or whatever, you're not feeling good, we can make it 90, we can make it 95 or whatever. Out in the equation, we'll still be able to establish a good prediction for you. Let's just put always safety first. Clips. If you need help, if you feel like something's not right, whatever, and you need me to just spot you and bring the weight back up, just say help. Sometimes help, when you're really pushing hard, can also work.
So as far as I understand, Chris, our aim is to do 100 kilograms for 10 reps in one set, correctly?
No, you're going to take the 100 kilos and you're going to do as many reps as possible in one set.
And then you're going to determine by using this data my one rep max in theory.
Exactly. It's not 100% accurate, but it will give us a fair idea, and it will be cool to compare it to your previous one rep max.
Okay.
Are you ready? Cool.
I'm still resting a little bit. I like to take my time on bench press and rest, so I'm sure that I can perform.
That's it. You're not doing an endurance test here. You're doing so take your time. Feel like whenever you're 100% ready to go and confident. Confidence plays, the mental side plays such a big role as well. If you don't feel confident, you go in there with negative thoughts. You're not going to be able to perform at your best. So make sure you feel 100% recovered, and yeah. Okay, so 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I say 6 o'clock. I say 9 o'clock. No, I say 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. 3.
And you?
I say 6 o'clock.
6.
So you say 3, I say 6.
So that's the whole point.
Okay, well, George is, what did you say?
12.
Oh, okay, you've won. Well done. Portuguese people are lucky. Good. I want you to just visualize, get yourself focused and ready for the lift now, and get your head in the game. If you're experiencing any pain, uncomfortable pain that is not muscle fatigue related, I want you to stop immediately. Whenever you're ready, let me know. 3, 2, wait. Cue music for intensity. Now. 3, 2, 1, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect example. This is an athlete with a powerlifting background who was able to bang out 10 reps at 100 kilos in the past. We have video footage of that, and has a 1 rep max of 130. And just because he's a little bit detrained at the moment, he wasn't able to perform at his optimal. And this is a safe test to establish his current 1 rep max prediction. So yeah, it was a successful workout. We're going to crunch those numbers into the equation so we can get his predicted 1 rep max, and then we can formulate his training block and his training program for the upcoming weeks.